Managing your fabric refers to how you're helping the fabric feed accurately and evenly underneath the presser foot. Now, the way the serger works is feed dogs like a sewing machine. So when you put 2 layers of fabric through the machine and under the presser foot, the top layer of fabric is being dragged along for the ride. So if you're working on a long seam, you have to pay attention and make sure that the top and bottom layer is feeding equally. Now, some people think differential feed could help you with that. Differential feed does not help with this issue because differential feed only controls how fast or slow the front set of feed dogs is going in comparison to the back set. So differential feed is more about controlling the stretch of the fabric as it goes underneath the feed dogs. So that's not going to help you. You have to actually manage the fabric yourself. It's actually operator error if you end up with different lengths or your fabric not matching at the end of a long seam. So just to illustrate this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this fabric underneath here and I'm going to start serging. Okay, and I just want to show you the ends match up right now. Okay, so this is about, I don't know, 2 feet of fabric, and I'm just going to start serging them together, and I'm just going to let them go. I'm not even going to touch the fabric. I'm just going to serge them together here. Notice this is my top layer, and I know it's my top layer because this is my upper looper is yellow thread. I put 4 different color threads in my serger so I can easily identify which part of the machine is contributing to which part of the stitch. So the yellow is the upper looper, the green is the right needle, the red is the left needle, and the blue is the lower looper. So look what happened in just 2 feet of fabric without managing your fabric. My lower piece of fabric, the one that was against the feed dogs, that's actually almost a 1/2 inch shorter. So in 2 feet, I almost lost a 1/2 inch, and that happens because the lower piece of fabric is against the feed dogs and it's actively pulling it, whereas the top layer is being dragged along. In order to manage the fabric, we want to pin it together a little bit, right? Now, are pins your serger's best friend? No, they are not, and I'm going to show you why. I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to show you. If I take a pin and pin my fabric like this, let's say, and then let's say I'm serging along and I'm not paying attention, you can see that I could easily damage my upper knife by allowing this pin to get in there, and if I'm not paying attention, you can actually sew over a pin and it will cut it, but it will also nick your blade and you'll need a new blade, or it could even do more damage. So pins are not ideal. If you're going to use a pin, let's say that's all you have for an option, you're going to put your pins out here like this. So there's no way that pin is going to get near your knife. Now, an alternative, and something I highly recommend, would be to get yourself some Wonder Clips. Wonder Clips look like this, and that will allow me to pin my layers together like this, so I'm even at the top. I'm going to go to the bottom. You can see I'm even at the bottom, right? So I'm going to pin there, and then really all I need, in addition to pinning the beginning and the end, is, you know, maybe a couple in the middle, or maybe like every foot or so. You don't need to pin your edges together every 2 inches. That's very time consuming and it's really not necessary. So I'm just going to put 3 Wonder Clips here. So I've got one here at the top, I've got one here in the middle, and I've got one here on the end. So now when I go to start serging, I'm going to stick my fabric underneath my presser foot, and if I don't want to lift my presser foot up like this, I can also just pick up the toe and put that fabric right up so it's butting up against the needles. So the first stitch it takes, it will grab the needles. And actually I can hand walk it and get them right in there like that. That way I know they're going to feed evenly from the top because the needles are now piercing both layers of fabric. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the fabric in my hands here. So as I'm serging now, I'm going to just hold them here at my next pin, but I'm not going to pull it or push it. I'm just going to hold it there and allow it, the feed dogs, to feed it in. Now when I get to this clip, I'm going to take it off and I'm going to do my second half. Okay, I'm going to take that clip up. You can see, by the way, if I forget to take a clip off, what happens? It starts to rub against the top of the presser foot. You'll see it, and you'll take it off. All right, so now let's finish up. All right, so we can see we're even on this end, and we're even on this end. Okay, and you noticed I really didn't touch the fabric or pull it or keep it from going under the presser foot. You literally just want to let it feed, but hold it together where it matches along the way. So managing your fabric is not a hard thing. You know, it just takes a little bit of practice. I think you can overhandle your fabric, and sometimes when you're working with knits, if you are holding it in the front of the presser foot, you can prevent it from going through, and you can actually contribute to the stretching out of your seam. So really you want to keep your hands from pulling the fabric from the front of the presser foot. So that's how you manage fabric.